Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to the Arsenal. And the one that has been the hottest sort of transfer news all summer so far is starting to look like it might come to a conclusion. Petr Cech, it looks like that deal is getting very close. Remember, I said that the other night we spoke to Ivan Gazidis and he said that it was very delicate at the moment, but Arsenal were in talks with Chelsea and with Petr Cech over the deal. And it looks like this deal is getting closer and closer and closer. And two sort of indicators yesterday that really points to this deal getting done now was the report that Tony Roberts is leaving the club. That's Arsenal's current goalkeeping coach. He's leaving the club to go and join Swansea, which opens the door for Petr Cech's long-term coach, Christoph Lollichon, who's been coaching Petr Cech for the last 11 years. It opens the way for him to join him at Arsenal. So that is a very, very big indicator that it looks like this deal's going to get done. Another sort of indicator is the fact that it looks like Chelsea are lining up a deal to sign Rob Green from West Ham. Rob Green from Queen's Park Rangers, should I say. So again, that's starting to point to the fact that the deal might happen. And also, we've also read that this part is all speculation, but we've read that apparently Arsene Wenger has said to Cech that, listen, if you come into the club, you're going to be number one. So the Petr Cech deal looks like it's going to be done sooner rather than later. This deal would be amazing, I think, for Arsenal. He's a world-class goalkeeper. He's just what we need. It's that security at the back and would really, really add a lot to Arsenal football team with chances of trying to win the league. Where does that, however, leave David Ospina? Now, we're reading that Fenerbahce has made a £4 million bid for David Ospina. It's only, to remember, he's still only 26 years of age. He looks a bit older than that, but he's only 26. Played very well for Colombia the other night, by the way, in their victory over Brazil. So he's an international goalkeeper who's done it at the highest level. He's only been his first season at Arsenal. Yes, there's been a couple of mistakes, but on the whole, he's been very good. But according to the Turkish newspaper Haberturk, Ospina is going to be joining Fenerbahce after the Copa America. Now, just a word of caution on that. Some of these Turkish newspapers and Turkish media outlets are notorious for... Can I use the word making up stories? Yeah, making up stories. They're notorious for that. So we can't be 100% guaranteed that this is going to happen. But it does look that if Cech comes in, you know, one goalkeeper is going to have to go. Surely you're not going to have Ospina and Szczesny both sitting there waiting to get their chance. Plus, as well, they'd both be on very big money. And I think at the least, one of those two are going to have to end up going out on loan. Which one of those do you think, if Cech comes in, should go? And that's what I'd like to ask you guys today. Leave it in the comments below. Who should go if Cech comes in, or who should go out on loan, or who should be sold? Should it be Ospina, who to me didn't do much wrong last season, or should it be Szczesny, who had a bit of a nightmare season but has been at Arsenal for a long time and still a very young goalkeeper and still has bags of potential? Who should it be that goes? That's what I'd like you guys to let me know in the comments below. William Carvalho, remember him? Last season, practically every week linked with Arsenal. Well, he put in a great performance last night in the under-21s against England, possibly the man of the match in that game. Was awesome in that midfield for Portugal. And again, the rumours flying around again today now. The links have started again off of the back of that performance. The Arsenal are again having another look and maybe interested in bringing Carvalho to the Emirates Stadium. He's still only 23 years of age, remember, so still a very young player. Not in the full Portuguese national team. Now, I don't know if that's because they're trying to give him more experience in the under-21s, but again, as I've said before, what I've been told about Carvalho is that he's, very, very highly rated player, but still not the finished article, still a bit rough around the edges. And that's why a lot of clubs have not gone in for him, especially at those ridiculous, like £35 million buyout clause and all those sort of things that we've been hearing about. But he's back on the radar again, apparently, off of the back of that great performance that he put in last night in the under-21s when playing against England, which incidentally, Portugal won that game 1-0. So William Carvalho, you might be hearing a bit more about him throughout the summer. Another player, Sven Bender. Look at that. I mean, that's the sort of defensive midfielder you want to see getting stuck in there, isn't it? Sven Bender is apparently being linked with Arsenal today. He's, of course, the twin brother of Lars Bender, who plays for Leverkusen. Sven Bender plays for Borussia Dortmund, 26 years of age. And he's getting linked today with both Arsenal and Liverpool by the newspaper Bild, which is based over there in Germany. They're saying that both of those clubs have inquired about him. They're both interested in him. He's still at Dortmund. He's still under contract. He's there until got a contract there till 2017. So I'm not sure of the kind of money it would take to prize him away. But both Arsenal and Liverpool apparently both looking at Sven Bender. Lars Bender is apparently the better of the two. If you speak to people in Germany, they always say Lars Bender out of the two of them is the better. But Sven is definitely getting interest out of Arsenal and Liverpool at the moment. A player that's on his way out, as we're talking about Germany, and he's going to German football, is Ryo Miyake. Very sad about him. Oh, we lost his picture here. But shame about Ryo Miyake. Had so much potential. I remember he, such a prospect. Quick, really lightning quick down the wings. And at one time, he was even went on loan. I think it was to either PSV or no, it was at Feyenoord. He went on loan there, did really, really well. Arsenal bought him back, even though they wanted to keep hold of him. But it's just not worked out for him at Arsenal. He had a few injury problems. As I said, he also had other loans, but it's just not worked out for him. Just goes to show how hard it is, even as a talented youngster, to burst into the first team. He looks like he's kind of gone backwards a bit. And we're reading today that he's joining German second division club, goes by the name of St. Pauli. I've never really heard of him before, but he's going to be joining them. So good luck to Ryo Miyake. He's still only young, remember, still only 22 years of age. So listen, go there, get your head down, work really hard. You never know. You could get back in the Premier League, or you could earn yourself a move to maybe one of the Bundesliga clubs, but I wish him all the best, Miyake, but it just hasn't worked out for him at Arsenal. And another player, Sami Ajayi, he's a Nigerian under-21 international. He's been on loan all last season. Arsenal player, of course, defender, 6'3", big imposing defender. Been on loan all season last year at Cardiff. Well, Cardiff have now decided to buy him, and they've signed him on a permanent deal. So he's going to be leaving Arsenal. Once again, I say the same thing to him as well. Good luck to you. Listen, you haven't made it at Arsenal, but Cardiff are still a decent club. Work hard, and you can make your way back up to the big time. The example for all these players now that go out on loan and think to themselves that, you know what, it's all done for me, it's all over. The example for them is obviously Francis Coquelin and what he's done and the way he's made his way back to the team. He showed that it's not impossible to get back to the highest level. So good luck to those two. Hasn't quite worked out for them. Good luck to them. Let's take a look at what you guys had to say. Yesterday, I asked some questions, who's got to go, and various questions I was asking you about Schneidlin. And so let's see what you guys have to say. Haswan says, I have a question here. He said, what would you prefer? He's asking me this. Buy Cech and sell Ospina, or don't buy Cech and keep Ospina? And he says, oh, Ospina. He's obviously a fan. Again, I think I'd be of the thing that we should maybe keep Ospina. This is what I said. I think we should keep Ospina. He should be the number 2. and then I'd send Szczesny out on loan for a couple of seasons before hopefully trying to bring him back, similar to what Chelsea did with Courtois, because I still think there's a player there in Wojciech Szczesny, as I'll keep repeating. I just think it's a concentration problem. Roberto Alvarez says, I think Moreno would be a good signing. He probably wouldn't get into the starting lineup, but it'd be great backup for whoever, up to whoever the starting defenders are. Again, as I said yesterday, Gazidis was saying the other night that he feels that Debuchy and also Monreal can cover those areas. And also, don't forget, you've got Chambers, who Arsenal are definitely grooming to be a centre-back as well as now Gabriel Paulista. So we're kind of covered in that area at the moment. So bringing in Moreno, would he get much game time? That would be the thing. Andy Toretto says, how can Robbie say that Schneiderlin might not be worth 24 million? He's been one of the best CDMs in the league for the past 3 years. He has been, but 24 million pounds for a defensive midfielder is a lot of money. Normally what you pay for like the real top level players in that. I mean, listen, he could be right. He could be right. He could be worth that amount of money. In the current market that we're in, I suppose 24 million pounds for a player of Schneiderlin's caliber. He's now a French international as well. He's still fairly young. I suppose you could argue and say that that is a decent price, but club's always going to try and drive it down a bit. But yeah, listen, I'm gonna go with what you're saying there, Andy. I suppose Schneiderlin is worth it. Miles Alberto says, personally, I think if we can't land any of the big name players like Benzema, Lacazette or Lacazette, I think we should try and get Javier Hernandez. That would be a good shout. Not bad player, good player, decent player, but is he better than what we've got? Is he better than Theo Walcott, say, if we push him in that position? Is he going to be better than Welbeck if he plays in that position? And he costs a lot of money. I don't think we need a player like Javier Hernandez. I think if we're going to get a striker, it's got to be really, really top quality striker. Or if not, then we just have to go with what we got. Jonathan Hansen says, Higuain would be the first team striker on virtually every national team in the world that didn't have Messi. He said, and he said he'll even have Tevez. Sorry, let me just get into the first thing. He said he'll even with Tevez as a first team striker would be left out of the squad. So he's saying that as far as he's concerned, I was sort of saying yesterday, Higuain, and quite a few people were saying it in the comments that Higuain wouldn't get into the team. And maybe Higuain's possibly not world class, but he's saying that, listen, he is. I think he was implying there that he is world class. And the only reason he's not straight into that team for Argentina is you've got Aguero's there, you've got, Messi, Tevez. It is a very hard lineup to get into. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a world class player. Anon, he says, Bamford is a good player, but nowhere near the quality of Remy or Falcao. I can't get on board the criticism of Chelsea in this instance. And basically what I was saying yesterday is that, with Manchester City saying that they want to sign Jack Wilshere, and I was drawing this and saying that, with Chelsea and Manchester City, they've got these young players in their academies that they never ever give a chance to. Bamford was the example I was using, the fact that he was a player of a season in the Championship last year, and he can't get a chance to play. Now, he's saying there that Falcao is better than Bamford, and listen, Falcao, he was a world-class player, was a world-class player. I'm not sure if he still is now, but what I'm trying to say is, when do these guys get a chance? How do you know if Bamford's going to be any good? Suppose Bamford came in next season and he did a Harry Kane in the Premier League. How are we going to know until these guys are given a chance? And that's what I'm saying. And I just look on it and I think, bringing in a player like Falcao to Chelsea, you just look on it and think, give some of those youngsters a chance in your city. You've got a good striker in Costa, world-class striker in Costa. You've got Remy there. The next striker you bring in a Bamford, give him a chance. Or, as I said yesterday, at Manchester City, Why do you want Jack Wilshere just to up your English quota? Go into your youth team that you're spending millions and millions on and give one of those youngsters, I'm sure there's some super talented youngsters in that system, give one of them a chance. When are we going to see any of these guys? There's nobody from the system in Manchester City's team. No kid that's come through that system has broken into that team. Not one. Not one. And at Chelsea, the only one they've got is John Terry. He broke in about 15 years ago. So both of them, to me, they need to sort it out. And as I said, they've got so much money that it's just like all they basically do is lump it on, bring him in, lump it on, bring him in. They never, ever give youth a chance at those clubs to blossom through their system. Or at least I've not seen it. If I'm wrong, let me know. Thanks for watching Arsenal Fan TV Transfer Daily today. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow, round about the same time. But the Cech deal is getting close.